This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pit Stop, where you, the pit crew, you are the real star of today's show. Thank you for being here on a very cold Monday for me. Cold in terms of temperature, and then beyond that, I got a little bit of a stomach ache. And today is a holiday here in the United States. Also in Canada, I hear a different holiday, but it means that today's news was very, very short. So before we even get to the news, because there's not a lot to talk about, I wonder what's hot, what's going on in your world, what are you trying or driving or doing in the world of sim racing, and did you have yourselves a good weekend? It was the kickoff of the season with the Daytona 500. Interesting race. I saw a lot of comments. I watched part of the race. I fell asleep and missed the end, which is where the craziness all occurred and happened. Heard very mixed reviews on whether people thought it was a good or a bad show. We'll call it a show, race. Depends on what perspective and how you look at it, I suppose. But yeah, it was for me, this weekend was about doing some practice for Sebring. Getting computers still tuned, and I had a little trouble with the one thing. I'm not going to go into detail. Ended up killing most of my Saturday trying to get that resolved, and I have got it resolved. And that kind of stuff. But ultimately, it was a good weekend, and just wish I didn't have a stomach ache today. But that's okay. I still feel good, and we're short on news, which means I can go right from here back to work, which is the main thing or the important thing to do today. So, what is going on in the world of sim racing? I need to set up my Stream Deck. I still haven't gotten that set up since I started the new computer. So, a few things that are still in the works in the background here. But what's going on in sim racing? Well, over the weekend, we saw Mitchie Hoyer, who's here in chat, he and Avid Chronic, they participated in the 3-hour prelude to the 12 hours of Sebring that'll be going on R-Factor 2 to be more specific. So, that race went on, and we do have a list of who won. It looks like Arne Schoenvelt, which is one of the fastest drivers. I broadcast the series way back when. He was one of the better drivers in that series. So you see some who's who, mostly European names here representing. And I see Mitchie Hoyer down in the 7th spot. Not too bad. So that went on over the weekend, and this is going to be kind of like we talked about on Friday. This is sort of the kickoff of the R-Factor 2 getting really into the big event. And I hope this is just the beginning of many, many, many more to come. The subtitles. Oh, wow, Theodore, subtitles are faster. We're on about a 20-second delay, I do believe. That's probably why you're seeing the chat before I even do. Question for you guys. Since, again, short on news. What happened? I have a Google browser, and when I open it, for some reason, if I go full screen, it's full screen, sure. If I shrink it or reduce it to a smaller screen, it goes below what I can see. Does anyone know how to reset a window so that it's back to normal? So that, like, you know, if you're not full screen, you get the bar so you can scroll left and right at the bottom. If anyone has that clue, if anybody knows how to do that, that would be very helpful to me. Yeah, puppies. Mitchie got robbed of the false penalty. And they, despite that, still had a good showing. So good job by Mitchie and teammate. We're starting to see some news about Codemasters. I don't have anything to tell you. I'm trying to get a copy here for preview or review. We'll see if that happens. I might end up getting it with you guys at the same time. Who knows? But they had the advertisement, which we talked about, that ran on TV in various different places. In addition to that, we are starting to see some reviews coming out. So, you know, here's one from PC Games. You know, I'm sure you can really trust them. PC Games, I'm sure they're super duper knowledgeable in the world of sim racing and motorsport gaming games in general, but they're titled Dirt Rally 2 PC Review, a punishing sequel for skillful drivers. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, there was a patch to Grid iOS if you care about that. Forza had a weekend update, weekend review that came out on the 15th, so this was over the weekend. One of the big announcements there, the Final Fantasy 15 cars coming to the game. This is not the first time this has happened. This is sort of becoming a reoccurring theme. Much like when the Warthog, wasn't it the Halo Warthog that went into Forza way back when? Cool cars. I always liked the way Final Fantasy kind of tweaked some modern and old school cars and kind of combined them into a hodgepodge of What, actually, I mean, I'm looking at this little convertible there, the one lower to the ground, not the lifted up one. Same car, basically. But I love that look. It's sort of a retro, modern look combined. I mean, I think that's a car that actually could do fairly well if somebody made something that produced something. Looks a lot like it. Anyway, so the Forza week in review, talking about what's going on there, different things. Oh, beautiful from Porsche. Anyway, and their full schedule of events going on for the weekend, with it being Monday. We don't talk about Forza all that much because, well, it's Forza. In addition to that, you know, you have their Le Mans eSports series. So Jota, Jota _ Commando, I guess has very screaming fast lap. Everyone's at Sebring right now. I love it. Setting a 1:44.680. Think you can do better? Step 1, sign up Le Mans eSport. We talked about that on Friday. It's pretty easy to get in there and out there and do it. So you can see the hot lap by him, give you a little idea of what it takes to be one of the fast guys in the world of Forza. What does it take? What does it take to be one of the fast guys in Forza? We've had discussions about physics. We've had discussions about controllers. One of the underlying... Oh, excuse me. One of the small things that if you read between the lines or listen between the things stated, often said by people in the sim racing world, is what are the tricks? You know, every sim has its trick. Every sim has, you could call it an exploit. I don't think of it as an exploit. At least not what I'm thinking about right now. But every sim has a different line that you can push. Grab by tabs at the bottom. In addition to that, F11, switch full screen. Theodore, but how if it's not in full screen, if it's partial screen, it's not getting me all the way to the bottom where you would have the bar that would let you scroll left and right. I cannot get that bar on my browser, and it's aggravating me. And it didn't resize the browser either. So that's my Windows question of the day. But yeah, what are the tricks? What does it take to be fast in Forza? Is it the braking? Is it exceeding corner speed and scrubbing off? What are the tricks that really make you fast for you Forza heads out there? Give us a clue. Let us know some of those tricks, because I know there's always a trick. Every sim has its trick. In addition to that, NASCAR Heat, their big race happened over the weekend as well. I did not get a chance to see it. This was NASCAR Heat League Showcase Race number 2. It's in the books, and they have a highlight reel at the 704 Games page. Hey, Lionheart, how you doing? We've been talking about Lionheart all day in our chat. A handful of our patron guys will be running in the Lionheart Racing Series, including myself, and I think I've a little something to mention on that today. Won't be a long show, so we'll get there pretty quick. Lando is the word of the day. Lando Norris. This guy's all over the esport world. He's all over the racing world. He's all over the sim racing world. Guy is everywhere we turn our face. Lando Norris. 3 different articles today. Here's one at motorsport.com. Norris, sim racing can make me a better F1 driver. Here's one at GP blog. Lando Norris hopes to bring sim racing experience into Formula 1 car. And then finally, at Race Department, a 3rd article. Sim racing will help me in F1. Lando Norris. I think they're kind of regurgitating the other story that we just talked about. This weekend, if you watched the race, did anybody catch the beginning when they were doing driver announcements for the NASCAR race? Did anybody see the way they were using a simulator to use as an interview spot or place for the drivers? It was very natural. We saw William Byron kicking things off, sitting on the pole, but William Byron sitting in a sim isn't a very hard, big stretch, right? Anyway, Lando Norris. Lando all over the world, showing the world, and this is very important, this kid using his attention, using his popularity, his fan base, is really, really promoting sim racing. And so we can all be jealous of a Lando Norris type going from sim racing to real-life driving. We can all say what we want to say. But I like to think, and I like to congratulate or thank the ambassadors of sim racing, the people who are helping our sport grow. And Lando Norris, no doubt about it, getting out there, telling the world that it is all about, as RF said, it's all about muscle memory. It really, you know, pro golfers, believe it or not, before a big tournament, pro golfers actually go to the driving range. If you go to, whatever the PGA Tour is at, well, an hour before they hit the links, they're out there at the driving range. Muscle memory, just repetitive action. Where do you put your hands? How do you put your feet? If you haven't gone to a corner, you might not know where your foot feels comfortable on that brake pedal. You've done it 100 times, you're 100 times more comfortable with where that foot goes on the brake pedal. So sim racing really can do that for everybody. If you have, I'm going to be running in a Lemons race this coming weekend. And even though I'm the first person to talk smack about clutch and H-pattern physics in sim racing, despite how much I trash talk that concept, it's still going to be beneficial for me to help. Even though it won't be one-to-one to the car that I'm driving in, just getting a little of that muscle memory in, just getting a little of that action, getting my foot so I know where I like my foot to be. Then I'll just have to adjust to the different car that I'm physically in. But it'll help me with the timing, it'll help me with the footwork, and then I just have to convert that into real life. Will it be identical? No, but I'll be way ahead of the game. Compared to if I didn't do that at all. And I think that's what Lando Norris's whole point is. I think that's what William Byron's point was as well, talking muscle memory. Memento GP has an article here about FA Racing. That's Logitech's G2 eSport team, which includes the racing team because it goes beyond that. I heard about Logitech G2 winning something else, but nothing to do with racing. But they are holding a tryouts, I guess we can call it. It's a tournament organized by FA Racing, G2 Logitech G, and PlayStation League. Monday the 15th it began, but they're going to have some test sessions, and this is a way to actually win your way onto the virtual team by Fernando Alonso. So basically, this is going out. Test 1 will be Monday, this 22nd, Tuesday, 23rd, 24th, and then they're going to have 5 different weeks of testing, 5 different sessions of testing. It's all over the place, to be honest with you, but it looks like this is one of the ways that you could actually win your way, earn your way, drive your way onto the Logitech G2 Fernando Alonso racing team, which would be kind of cool, and it could be something to just kind of watch out for. We already talked about this in the Forza section, but PC Gamer also talking about the Final Fantasy cars. Again, I'm going to say I love it. I think they're cool looking cars. I think they'll be a nice addition to that. And I think that's really all the sim racing news. I do want to mention Lionheart Racing Series. We've been talking about it here. Lionheart's in the chat with us. But Lionheart this year, First Medical Equipment has returned for the 4th season of sponsorship for the Lionheart Racing Series, along with the Simpit also sponsoring that series as well. And I myself will be running in the IndyCar series that they're putting on, which is coming up very, very soon. I have a beautiful paint job. Thank you to Joa Antonio for that. And very much looking forward to getting out there and getting in the racing. So you can see their full list of sponsors here. And if you're looking for a good league, whether it be for racing in, you should head over there and check them out. If you're looking for a good league to watch good racing, you're going to see that on Global Sim Racing Channel coming up as soon as the season kicks off. And I'll keep you informed on that, as I will be one of the contestants in that series. In addition to that, just a cool couple things. Here is a workstation, ASR Sim Office. And sure, that looks like extrusion or profile tubing, 80-20 tubing type of a rig. This is actually specifically built to be a sim rig. So you can see there is a pedal tray down there. You can see that is a wheel deck mounted to the desk. You got your triple screen monitor stand, and in addition to that, some decent workspace to keep your notes. You see if you want to keep a logbook or any other peripherals that you might have, you could just put up there on the desktop. I thought that was kind of cool. Would work for a lot of people out there who can't maybe have a rig which is going to extend out in the room or be single purpose. It's hard to do much of anything else in a sim rig, but if you need a work desk, maybe you're still a student or maybe you work from home, that could be a good answer for you. Limao, I'm sorry if I got your name wrong, asks, what content do I think is missing in Automobilista? The Brazilian content is amazing, but probably not very attractive to most of the globe. I think you hit it on the head right there. The guys at Automobilista, Riza Studios, they they have really been some of the best when it comes to creating R-Factor 2 based content. They're exceptional at their work in physics, graphics, and all that. But as you mentioned, they've catered to a Brazilian audience, and that's good and bad. If you were to look at it, they have the most success in Brazil. They're extremely popular there, and I think about the world of streaming. I know some streamers who are far more successful than me that cater to a specific region, and their fanship in that region is even far more than my global attraction goes. So I think that that's good and bad for them, but it has hurt them. When it comes to sim racing, one of the things that I've always said, and I truly believe this, people want to drive the cars that they'll never be able to drive, the cars that are iconic, the cars that are important, the cars that are too much money. Those are the things that are always, Richie Hearn and Sage Karam also will be running in the series. Look at that, 2 real-life IndyCar drivers in the Lionheart Racing Series. But yeah, when it comes to Automobilista, not having a Porsche, a Ferrari, an Audi, a Lamborghini, the list goes on. But when you think of the iconic car marquees, a lot of people who sim race, a lot of people sim drive. They're not even sim racers, perhaps. They're sim drivers. And if that's the case, it's all about the cars. It's all about the tracks. It's all about being able to drive places that I may never get to. I may never get to go to Italy. And if I do get to Italy, will I get a chance to take a car out on Monza? Well, that's what it's all about. And it's just not right if you're not doing Monza in a Ferrari, if you're getting a one-in-a-shot bucket list type of attempt there. So I think that's been the biggest Achilles heel. It's certainly nothing to do with the graphics, certainly nothing to do with the physics, the sounds, or anything else that the guys at Automobilista do. I think it is content. In the world of retail, in the world of restaurants, they say location. In the world of sim racing, it might be content. The right content can probably sell a bad sim, and the wrong content might not be able to sell a great sim. I think back to Live for Speed. Live for Speed was always one of my favorites. But one of the huge downfalls of Live for Speed was the lack of licensed real content. And that is what we're trying to emulate for a lot of people. Other sim rig options. I just want to give this guy a pat on the back. Nice job cutting and welding and bending tubing. At first, you just look at that as just some simple rig. But no, it's actually rather elaborate. I'm not sure if that bracing, I see a secondary brace on the shifter side, that probably helps out quite a bit, but nice, elegant design. You can see you designed this not only for the ease of getting in and out, but also for strength. I think back when I was building Deathmobile type rigs, I always felt like the left side should be somewhat relieved in the sense of giving you a little more room than the right-hand side to get into it. Typically in American right-hand shifter, your shifter handbrake's on the right. You're not going to want to enter the rig from that side, so you need that relief open area on the left. They did a great job here, but, that's going to be a lot cheaper than buying a rig. That's just some metal and some welding gear. So if you have a chop saw, if you have welding gear, you really don't need to go buy a rig. I'm such a fan of both. And here's a nice home-built DIY version of a profile rig, and I'm not trying to talk smack, and I'm not trying to take anything away from P1, the known profile chassis. It just always makes me kind of laugh because people go pay for a kit, and you're paying, people, it's so funny where people will talk shit on this hand and then do the exact thing they despise on the other hand. And I just think of the whole world of DIY rigs. It's like, well, Profile's a DIY rig. Why do you need to pay somebody? Pick up the phone, call McMaster. Pick up the phone, call 8020 USA, or go online and find it. You can buy it for a fraction of the money. And now, that is for those who like a DIY. In the case of P1, it's hard to beat a Profile extrusion tubing rig. It's just hard to beat. So for those who can't design their own or don't want to take the trouble or buy the wrong pieces, sure, buying a kit is the way to go. And I think of the same sort of thing when I think about an OSW type steering wheel almost. And wait, we already have that one. So that is the end of the news. One promo that I do want to talk about. Isn't Hot Lap Hump Day this Wednesday? I didn't see a notice at Rick Botech's site. I'm going to have to check in with them. But, You guys know Kevin Ford. Kevin Ford is the announcer who works with me on Hot Lap Hum Day. He comes from Extreme Motorsports, another great league. I talk about running in the Lionheart League, but another fine league out there is Extreme Motorsports, and their races are also broadcast. You can run with them. You know how fast these guys are because you see them on Hot Lap Hump Day. But Extreme Motorsports 99.com is where you will find them. They're actually looking for more cars, more drivers, and if you're looking for a good league environment, I mean, there's a lot to be said about running in a league compared to running open races in, like, say, iRacing, for example. But, you know, you'll hear a lot of complaining about open racing, and when you get in that league environment, it just seems to be a little bit more cutthroat type competition. So again, do check out Extreme Motorsports 99, and you could get out there with some of the fastest guys in iRacing and be part of that Rickmo Tech. Rickmo Tech's their sponsor. So you would be supporting our show, you'd be supporting our sponsors, and supporting our good friends. Again, Kevin Ford puts in a lot of time to make our Hot Lap Hump Days that much more fun, and I think we'll have one of those coming up on Wednesday. So that is going to do it. The last thing I'm going to finish with is tomorrow I am actually doing a coaching session with James Dowling of our Patreon group, getting ready for Sebring. We're in full prep for Sebring coming up on March 2nd and 3rd. If you are part of our group, if you are part of the Rickmo Sound Running, sorry. If you're part of our group, part of the Discord channel, part of the patron team, and you are interested in running in the Endurance Series, and you just feel that you don't have the pace, you just, you know, we're going to have multiple levels of drivers on different teams, so there's a place for everybody in our group. But if you feel like you need a little help, tomorrow at noon, I'm going to be doing a coaching session with James. So if any of our guys, any of the regulars, any of the patron group, Discord guys, if any of you guys want to work with me tomorrow at noon, I'll be doing sort of a beginner's coaching session, trying to help you find speed at Sebring. So just a little advanced warning on that going on. And beyond that, I am in the final stages of the Next Level Racing GT track review. Should have that coming out, oh gosh, maybe by midnight tonight, probably more likely tomorrow at this point. I lost all of Saturday. It kind of killed me. Turn off the volume. I can't hear Sean. Sorry about that, you guys. I didn't realize how booming loud I had that video playing. I don't think I said anything that valuable, though, to be honest with you. I think I was just blabbing away. Just filling time, I suppose. But that is going to do it for today's show. Sorry I don't have more news. Again, it's a holiday. Not a lot going on. Not a lot being talked about in the sim racing world. Hopefully Wednesday will kick things up. But it doesn't matter to me. We still got a chance to hang out, talk sim racing, and hang out with our good friends, our people in the automotive motorsport gaming world. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the show. Thank you for being the pit crew. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.